Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am finally getting back into making videos, and we're getting back into Hickman's Dawn of X. Today with giant-sized X-Men Magneto. So this is written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Ramon Perez, colors by David Curiel. This was a good read specifically looking at this for fans of the character Magneto. And of course the interesting thing about Magneto in Dawn of X, very different from traditional depictions. He's kind of taken on a different role in mutant society than a lot of what we've seen in the past. You know, Hickman really seems to be characterizing him and his current mindset as a representative of the mutant nation of Krakoa, almost like a diplomat. And because of that, he's really being a lot more nice, so to speak. Well, I guess as nice as you can imagine Magneto being ever. So, you know, this kind of feels like a prequel book or like a transitional book into a much larger story. And of course, you know, knowing the way that Hickman crafts his tales, that is absolutely the case. You know, a lot of his stories work like that. And this is a one-shot, you know, a lot of rumors behind the significance of all of these giant-sized X-Men books is that they will tie together in the end. You know, all pieces of a larger puzzle that makes a lot more coherent sense together. And I'd have to say, you know, with this standalone story, we're left with a bit of feeling that we don't know the whole scope of what's being developed here until, of course, we see the outcome of these events way in the future, whenever that'll be, with a year down the road, who knows. So we start out Magneto, he's arriving on an island here, and I gotta say this, I love the white cape, the white clothes he wears. You know, just like through all of House of X and Powers of 10, it really does seem to be symbolism of his new role, literally appearing as the mutant diplomat in the series, giving the reader an immediate sense of, I don't know, you know, good guys wear white, bad guys wear black. This isn't the same Magneto that we've always known, you know. Krakoa's changed everyone in their own ways, and I'm honestly enjoying this phase of Magneto's character development. I can't always say the same for all of the other characters, but this is like the evil good guy that I really have learned to appreciate in Hickman's depiction here. We see that Magneto wants to talk to the owner of this island, that he's in the market to make an island purchase for another party, whoever that may be. I enjoyed this intro white page more than some of the others recently. Even before becoming one of the founding architects of the mutant nation of Krakoa, Magneto's destiny was irrevocably intertwined with that of mutant kind. Magneto's single-minded goal to protect and uplift his people above all else has been an ongoing source of strife, but rarely has he seemed so close to achieving it. And so true are those words. You know, the idea alone of a mutant nation, it brings back thoughts of the tragedy behind Genosha and how horribly that ended. And the idea that Krakoa could finally be the chance of all mutants, you know, living together in peace and harmony without the genocide and destruction of the past, it seems very much too good to be true. And so I think that most readers going into this are kind of thinking that same thing. We have this almost this sense of dread for what might happen, the same things that happened to Genosha, of course. So we see a flashback here to Emma and Eric, and they're eating together, and I'll be honest, there's a little too much food, drink, and lobster talk for my liking here. You know, I feel like most of the time it seems a lot more applicable to leave out mundane aspects of conversation in comics, you know, about epic stories of superhumans fighting for their survival. But hey, you know, I guess that's just a personal preference. We find out here that Emma was the buyer that wanted Magneto to find and purchase an island for her. And hey, you know, I don't want to spoil anything for readers, but we really don't find out why she wants the island, not even by the end of the book. Of course, this is pretty much the way that Hickman likes to write, you know, giving small pieces that really will make sense only in a full context. Like I said, this actually does feel like a prequel standalone book to the real action that's to unfold later. We get a couple pages of Magneto waiting around for the owner of the island to show up and talk with him about the offer he has. And a fun twist, Namor shoots out of the water, giving a suitable introduction like he certainly would. You know, the two of him, Magneto and him, they make an interesting contrast as characters. And I love the Robert Heinlein reference. Fantastic little addition to the dialogue from Namor. Here I am, Prince of the Ocean, King of Atlantis, answering the summons of there is a stranger in our strange land, only to find you, a mutant, less special each and every day, I think. Magneto replies, you kept me waiting. I am a king. They have a fun exchange of dialogue, and Magneto explains that they're on the White Queen's behalf, that he wants to lease this island. He asks if they can come to terms on that, and Namor says, that depends. Do you feel like a swim? Magneto agrees. They dive in, and we find out Namor is looking for an exploratory scientific team that went missing a while back, and that he needs Magneto to lend a hand. So, as an aside, I really do have a lot to say about the pacing of different comic books and, hey, even novels and poetry. And this book was an interesting read because the pacing felt so lopsided. You know, the first half of this book was slow in its delivery and movement, but about halfway it doubled its pace, it tripled its pace at certain parts, felt really rushed. So, you know, it started out really slow and then just bam, bam, page after page, so much happened all at once. Magneto says, it's pretty dark down there. And I love the way Namor talks about the depths of the ocean here. He says, it's the ocean, Magneto. The sun is for thin skin and weak hearts. And the deep is for those who are made of sterner stuff. It really does reflect well his characterization, you know, the way he really does look down his nose at the whole of surface dwellers as almost insignificant so many times. And so, really well written page here. I enjoyed it. We see that Namor needed Magneto to open what looks like a vault made of brass, tin, iron composite, and it springs to life upon opening. We see a kraken burst from the metal enclosure and dart after them, and a fight for their survival ensues, about 4 pages. And it ends with a swift snap of the beak of this creature from the depth, enclosing them in darkness. And I don't know, Magneto kind of makes a joke here that seems a little out of character for him. He says, this is going well, I think. I don't know. So they swim deeper into the belly of this beast. They come up on a cave entrance, and inside are a group of what look like half women, half kraken, like kraken maids, so to speak. Their leader says, a man of the sea, a man of the earth, what seek you, strangers? Weeks ago, I lost a group of explorers, scientists in these deep waters. I'm trying to find them. Oh, their bones are around here somewhere, scattered with millennia of others, soon to be joined by yours, if you choose, as they did, incorrectly. They're shown 3 pillars with 2 choices, an empty pillar in the middle. On the right, a snail-looking spiral, and then on the left, a stone. Choose one and live, choose the other and die. We see here Namor arrogantly chooses the wrong one and is attacked and subdued by the creature inside of the spiral shell. I like this. Of course, me wanting to see Magneto as the hero villain that I love so much. He sees through the deception and he destroys the second option, the stone. And, he realizes that the empty third pillar may be a choice in itself, that there actually were 3 choices, even though it only looked like there were 2. And he was right. The Kraken mermaid leader is forced to give Magneto a key to something. And this is another one of those future plot references that we'll have to wait to see about. We saw the key multiple times in this book, at least 4 or 5 references to it. And so you know it's going to come up, and you know it's probably going to be something important when it comes to it. Namor says that a deal is a deal when they get back to the surface, and he hands over ownership to the island to Magneto, asking, "What are you going to do with it?" Immediately, I like this scene here. With no words, Magneto begins disassembling the freighter that he came to the island on. He begins forming it into a structure, a big building with a huge tower, and just in that next panel, planting a Krakoa seed that very swiftly grows into a gate to the mutant nation of Krakoa itself. And the end here, like I mentioned, we really don't get to see what the island is for, what the structure is. We definitely don't get to see what the key is. When Magneto asks Emma what she has in mind, she simply says that she intends to send invitations to see who shows up. So, I like this issue. Again, I like the idea of this one shot for a few reasons. It's a vague beginning to what I know will be part of a wider story. I like how it contrasts Magneto's character with Namor a lot. I had fun with that. I love the arrogance of Namor, and usually you do see a lot more arrogance in Magneto. And, of course, with the Dawn of X, we see that a little bit less. Here and there, it comes and goes, but I really feel like Magneto toned it down quite a bit when he, made this kind of diplomatic mission to buy this island. Like it was an important thing for him to do this for Emma to get her this island. And I had fun with that. This book leaves a lot of questions open about the future, and whatever Emma has in store for the island, who knows? We honestly don't. And I'll be honest, I'm more interested in that key that Magneto won from those Kraken mermaids. Who knows what that's all about, of course. So I'd like to say that this book, if you're thinking about getting it or you already have it, of course, it's not an essential addition, of course, to the Dawn of X, just like the last two giant-sized X-Men were. They're side stories, and they're fun to read on their own. I'll tell you, I do like those rumors that all of these giant-sized X-Men are going to end up being tied together. I'll be honest, I don't see any connection between those right now, but that is exactly why that idea intrigues me so much. It means that we're missing so much of the pieces of the puzzle, and that there is a lot more to be revealed in the upcoming Dawn of X storyline. So what do you think? Tell me about Dawn of X. Which books are you reading? It's been so long since I made a video. Love to hear from everybody. Have you kept up with these books? I haven't kept up with a lot of them. My favorites are still X-Men and X-Force. Of course, X-Men being on the top of my list. What do y'all think? Are y'all going to give Ten of Swords a try? I'm a bit iffy about it. I'm a bit iffy about all of the Marvel events coming up, but, since I'm such an X-Men fan, I'll probably check out Ten of Swords, probably above the others. Hey, just like always, I always have that same advice: support your local comic shop, and at the end, you are the gateway into comics.